Welcome to Season 7 of FYI. This season, instead of tackling topics, we'll discover the most common verbs in the English language. Do you make mistakes with make and do? We'll learn to make do with these verbs on this week's episode of FYI.
Welcome to For Your Info.
En inglés.
You got it. Hello, FYIers. Welcome to this, another episode of FYI from our Essential Verbs collection. That's right, here in Season 7, we are going to get to know the most common verbs inside and out. And folks, today we're going to take a look at make and do and how we use them, when we use them, and believe it or not, if you listen to the intro carefully, what did I say? I said, do you make mistakes? Well, there's the first one. I had a student tell me once, Alberto, I don't commit mistakes. I go, well, there's your first one, because we don't say commit. To commit is comprometerse. To make mistakes is cometer errores. So it's not a direct translation. And we'll have to make do. To make do is to find a solution in a tricky situation. I think you say apañárselas o arreglárselas. So sometimes it's make, sometimes it's do, and sometimes it's make and do. So if you want to follow along, you'll have to join my community. There's a PDF that you can follow every example. You can mark it up, and you can also add your own examples. In fact, I'm always telling my students, I'm going to give you an example or two, but the important thing is that you personalize it, that you add your own examples. So mark it up. It's not like another book, other books or PDFs. You're like, oh, I don't want to make any marks on it. This is English. Cross things out, add things. Like when I tell you it's walked, cross out the ED and put a T over it. You already know how to spell it. I'm more interested in the way it's pronounced. So that's another thing here. I want you guys, not only in Season 7, obviously, but I want you guys to pronounce all the different structures, all the vocabulary aloud. Why? Well, do you want this to just be a listening exercise? Listening and comprehension are both extremely important. But if we want to communicate, the other side of that is speaking. So I urge you to repeat all the structures, all the idiomatic expressions, because in the bonus part, we always take a look at the phrasal verbs with each verb. We also take a look at idiomatic expressions. We take a look at it in pop culture and music and movies with real examples. And then at the end, I think one of the coolest parts, you can put yourself to the test. Well, I put you to the test in the audio, but you can follow along on the PDFs. And how do you get all that extra content? A bonus episode, PDFs, classes with me if you're in our higher levels? Real simple. Go to patreon.com/Alberto Alonso and join our curious community. And I want to send a shout out to all of you, especially my super duper students, Marta, Javier, and Paco, and my interstellar students, Carmen, Lina, Isa, Paco, David, Jose Maria, and Edgar. Keep up the great work. You're doing a great job. You're making progress. And if you guys want to really make the most of this, you see what I'm doing here? We're warming up. If you want to make the most of these episodes, make sure you join us on patreon.com/Alberto Alonso. And you can take a look at the script, you can make notes on it, and even review the vocabulary with me. Are you serious? Do you mean business? Eso es otra forma de decir, ¿vas en serio? Do you mean business? Well, go to Patreon and check it out and see if it's right for you. Let's take a look at make and do. So what's the difference? I guess that would be the first question. Well, it often depends on the context, right? Like everything here. But there are some general guidelines, okay? But again, as with everything in English, there are many exceptions. English is a language of exceptions. No worries. What I recommend is you know the general rule, of course, but you really strive to learn them as individual sentences, as sounds, like when we do, have you ever been to? Well, the same thing. Learn it as make mistakes, as one thing. Learn the sounds together as one. Just like when we look at used to, it's not really two words. Okay, it is, but we don't separate them. It's always I used to. It's not I used to go, right? We don't separate it there. They always go together. So I want you to pay attention to all those little nuances. So let's look at make first. All right, make is an irregular verb. Every day I make progress. Yesterday I made progress. And lately I've made progress. We use it for creation and production. So when you create something or produce something. So I'll give you the sentence, you give me the question. I made a cake. ¿Qué hiciste? ¿Qué cocinaste? What did you make? I made a cake. All right? So to make something, to prepare something, to cook something. Also to cause or to force something or someone to do something. So she made him apologize. You say the same thing. Hizo que pidiera perdón, right? She made me apologize. Well, I put my foot in my mouth. Metí la pata. Y es tan común esa expresión that you can just say, I put my foot in it. So to make someone do something, to force them or cause them, right? The wind makes the leaves fall off of the trees, for example. No, hace que. Then we've got it also with plans and decisions, right? To indicate that something is going to happen. So, for example, we made a decision. We're going to make a plan. We need to make a choice, una elección. Again, I urge you to learn them as individual sentences because you'll see there are many exceptions. Because now we're going to look at do in general. And do is also an irregular verb. It's do, did, done. Do, did, done. And this is used for performing actions or activities, carrying out tasks or work. So I need to do my homework. Sin ese, remember. I have to do my housework, right? So to do homework, to do housework. So do we do our bed or make our bed? Pues en esa teoría, you would do your bed, right? Porque lo llevas a cabo. Pero aquí es hacer la cama. It's to make your bed. And what about la maleta? Do we make our suitcase or do we do our suitcase? Well, if I have to choose one of those, I'll say, I'm going to do my suitcase. Pero yo no lo diría. If you're making me choose, if I have to make a choice, como acabamos de ver, well, there I would just say, I have to pack. That was a trick question. All right. So when we indicate tasks that we have to do, unless it's the bed, then we make the bed. You can also say fix the bed, que también es arreglar la cama. I know, English can be confusing sometimes. Also for non-specific activities. So when it's not clear what's happening, what is he doing? I don't know what he's doing. So el hacer de no sabemos, it's not what is he making, porque eso sería que está cocinando, que está fabricando, sin contexto. But here, we've got context. What are you doing? And remember this question, what are you doing? Very important. That can mean, again, according to context, what are you doing right now? What are you doing? Well, I'm eating. I'm making some soup, right? Not soap. Soup es sopa, casi me lío en español, and soap es jabón, right? So what are you doing? But that also can be used as a future. What are you doing this weekend? Ahora, puedes decir, what are you going to do this weekend? But you can also use the present continuous as future at times when it's something pretty similar, right? So what are you doing this weekend? It's nothing too crazy, right? But honestly, I think that's just a nuance because I could ask you perfectly, what are you doing next summer? aunque es muy adelante. So just so you know, it can be used in the present continuous as it's indicated, but it also can be used as a future tense in place of going to, which we pronounce gonna. What are you going to do? Not to be confused with a qué te dedicas. Do you remember that one? What do you do? Or what do you do for a living? We've looked at that one many times. Well, how are you going to meet people if you don't know how to ask them what they do for a living, right? And know how to answer yourself, right? And we looked at in the to be episode, I'm teacher, I'm Tarzan, I'm Jane. No, I'm a teacher. Si no, suenas un poco a Tarzán, que en inglés se pronuncia Tarzan. Yeah, we don't pronounce anything alike. Aladdin, we say Aladdin. Yeah. My poor daughter, she's like, wait, Aladdin or Aladdin? What are we talking about here? So, el hacer de toda la vida ahí. Pero quería destacar esto de el presente continuo y también futuro. All right, also routine tasks or chores. So, to do the laundry, to do the dishes. Again, there's a good exception. We make the bed, and I think almost everything else we do around the house, including the general term for it, to do the housework. And a little tip to help you if you come across one and you don't know, topar con, to come across. If you come across one and you're not sure, make is usually referring to something tangible, right? Or intangible. And do is usually for a task or a routine. But again, I know many exceptions. What would you say, to do business or to make business? It's to do business. You don't know how many times I've heard people say, make business. Eso hay que saberlo. De hecho, recuérdate esta frase. Here's a little translation. Si hago negocios, ganaré dinero. If I do business, I'll make money. You can say earn, pero ¿por qué? Make es otro uso de make, ganar también. So that's a general rule, but again, I never teach that rule. I like to go over it so you know it, and maybe if you're in a bind, en un apuro, but then again, there are so many exceptions that is it really worth it? Let's see. Let's see if you recognize some common uses of make. I'll give it to you in Spanish, and then we'll look at a translation. We'll see if you know it. Haz una decisión o toma una decisión. Did you say make a decision? Some British people say to take a decision. Yo nunca lo diría, pero es correcto, to take a decision. But we always say make in my country. We never really do a decision. All right, so the example I have here is I need to make a decision about my future. Apréndete eso junto. Make a decision. To make up your mind is another way to say it. I need to make a decision. I need to make up my mind about my future. Are you pronouncing these? I hope so. Remember, you just want to listen to me talk because that's okay. You can do that and I'll pronounce it for you every time, but you're the one who needs to get used to pronouncing it so it feels comfortable. All right, tengo que hacer una llamada. I have to make a call. Otro que es raro, es como, pues es algo rutinario, ¿no sería to do a call? No, I have to make a phone call. I have to make a call. What about un esfuerzo? Make an effort. You have to make an effort. She always makes an effort to help others. That's the example we have here. Can you turn it into a question? So she always makes an effort to help others. Does she always make an effort to help others? To make a plan, we looked at that one before, or to come up with a plan is the phrasal verb. We have to come up with a plan. We have to make a plan. Let's make a plan for the weekend. What you can't say is planify or planificate. Why? It's just to plan. You didn't plan. No planificaste. Well, I've heard students say, you didn't planificate or planify. It's just plan in English, or to make a plan. We already mentioned to make a meal, so anything with food. Vamos a ver el ejemplo. Yo haré la cena esta noche. Vamos a contraerlo. I'll make dinner tonight. I'll make dinner tonight. The next example is to make money. He works hard for his money, so you better treat him right. The example there is he works hard to make money, but it's in a song, to make money. And you hear it in a rap song. They use it as a chorus. Everybody say, make money, money, make money, money. So again, you'll find all this stuff in pop culture. And in the bonus episode today, we'll take a look at some plucked right from pop culture. All right, the next one is to make a difference. This is to, when we talk about, being a good person, making a difference in your family, in your community, that you don't just go unnoticed, desapercibido, but you're actually affecting change. If you want to make a difference, you can volunteer in your community, right? To make a difference, to make progress, we've already looked at. All of you are making progress right now, especially if you're repeating after me. And what about hacer amigos? Is that to make friends or to do friends? Well, both of those are correct, but they mean different things. To make friends es hacer amigos. To do friends es acostarte con ellos. I'm just telling you. That's right. So he made a lot of friends and then he did them. Oh, wow. Well, then you got to be careful with those friendships. By the way, there's an FYI episode on relationships if you have not heard it. So those are some of the most common uses of make. I'm sure you can come up with your own. Let's take a look at do. To do your homework or to do your housework. Bueno, es una forma fácil de acordarte. Los deberes de la casa o los del cole siempre son do. Let's give you an example. Necesito hacer los deberes antes de ver la tele. I need to do my homework, sin ese. I need to do my homework before watching TV. Quiero que apuntes ahora before to watch y táchalo, cross it out. Why? Porque sería before watching TV con el gerundio o repetimos sujeto, before I watch TV, pero nunca before to watch. O sea, this way, next time you see the word before next to the word to, you'll know, those don't go together. The same with can, right? Can, quiero que apuntes can, no, poder, and to, and cross it out. Because it's a good visual. You're like, claro, esas dos palabras no van juntas. Nunca. All right, let's try another one. ¿Quién lavará los platos después de la cena? Who will do the dishes after dinner? Did you say dinner? It's not dinner. It's dinner. 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 Say it with me. Who'll, if you want to contract it, who'll do the dishes after dinner? Who will? Who'll do the dishes after dinner? I'll do the dishes after dinner. Well, you made the dinner. I'll do the dishes. O sea, hay mucho make and do en la casa. And we've got an episode on the home as well where you can review some of these household chores specifically. So to do the dishes, if you make the dishes, you work for Porcelanosa, right? If you make the suitcase, you work for Samsonite. You get? So make, muchos casos, fabricar. Okay? So to do the dishes. The British say, are you going to do the washing up? To do the washing up. We say to do the dishes or to wash the dishes. All right. What about, ¿me puedes hacer un favor y recoger mi correspondencia? Can you do me a favor? Apréndete eso todo junto. He oído make me a favor. Es incorrecto, right? Do me a favor. So could you do me a favor and pick up my mail? Correspondencia, mail. Will you do me a favor? Can you do me a favor? Could you, más polite, could you do me a favor and pick up my mail? And I always like to teach the opposite of pick up when we look at pick up. So to pick up is coger, recoger. The opposite? ¿Puedes dejarlo en delante de mi casa? Can you drop it off in front of my house? So to pick up and drop off. Antonyms. Good to learn them together. And we're going to take a look at some antonyms for make and do in just a moment. We have some more examples of do. And I hope you guys are doing what I said and you're repeating these sentences aloud and coming up with your own. All right, what about the shopping? To make the shopping? No, to do the shopping or to go shopping. Acuérdate, con actividades, I'm going to go surfing. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to go camping. I'm going to go kayaking. Cuando tienes alguna duda, mete el go con el gerundio. Hey, it never fails. Es hacer tal cosa, llevar a cabo tal cosa. We already looked at to do business. Okay, just be careful with the spelling. I've seen students misspell it. It's business with one S at the beginning and two S's at the end. So we do business with companies all over the world. Otra forma de decir all over the world, worldwide. Do business. You got to know that one, especially if you want to do business and you mean business when you do business. You remember that one from before? To mean business, ir en serio. These are some really, really native expressions. And I know you guys are doing your best. Esto es también. Do your best. Do the best that you can do to do your best. I'm not asking everybody to be perfect. I'm asking you to do your best. All right? What about to do your hair? To do your hair. Eso es peinar el pelo. You can say to comb your hair or to do your hair. Y ya que estamos, añadimos el do your makeup. Pintarte la cara. To do your hair or to do your makeup. Right? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but isn't it to make yourself up? Not really. It's much more common to say, who did your makeup? Right? Instead of who made you up or did you make yourself up? Did you do your makeup? O sea, to do your makeup. Makeup se suele usar como sustantivo. Now, we're going to look at a lot of phrasal verbs with the word makeup in the bonus episode. And guys, I am not making it up. No me lo estoy inventando. All right, so we said to do your hair, to what else? What else? To do your makeup, to do the laundry, to do the dusting, right? To do a load of laundry, si queremos ser más específicos, una colada, una carga, we say. I did a load of laundry this weekend. Oh, yeah? Well, I do 3 loads of laundry every weekend. And there are 3 of us living under my roof. What about a job? I've heard lots of mistakes with this one. I've heard students say, I have to make a job. No, I have to do my job. I have to do my work. So con work and job, we use do, okay? Not make a job, not make work. And what's the difference between work and job? A job is una tarea específica. I have to do this job right now because it's part of the work I have to do. Work is more in general, all right? And then we use it with the nothing, with the anything, right? Él no quiere hacer nada. Let's see if you know it. Él no quiere hacer nada. He doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to do anything. He does nothing. En este caso, el hacer de toda la vida, no usamos make. Because if I say he doesn't want to make anything, otra vez, no quiere fabricar o cocinar algo sin contexto. So el do de toda la vida, as you would say in Spanish, is that one. And I'm thinking of our friend Bruno Mars. Today I don't feel like doing anything. Hoy no me apetece hacer nada. So I don't feel like it, más el ing. Y to do, otra vez, el hacer de toda la vida. We'll look at some more songs and movies in the bonus episode. Let's take a look at some synonyms for make right now. Some synonyms for make are create, produce, construct, build, or form. Some antonyms for the verb make: destroy, break, demolish, disassemble, ruin. And let's look at some synonyms for do: perform, carry out, execute, accomplish, complete. And some antonyms for do: neglect, ignore, fail, abandon, and forget. So I hope you don't forget these little tricks, and I hope you'll join us in the bonus episode of this week's FYI. We are going to have the time of our lives.